Welcome to 10th grade English. My name is Miss Fromm. In this class, we will cover a wide range of literature, as well as topics in poetry and linguistics. I would like to open class today with a brief overview of the history of the English language. I will walk you through each period in hopes of giving you an understanding of how our language has evolved over time. To start, all languages in Europe fell under the umbrella category of Indo-European languages. This map displays the geographical distribution of the Indo-European languages circa 1000 BCE. The arrows are pointing to the areas that spoke Germanic, the language from which Old English was born. It is easy to remember the progression of English by recognizing key pieces of literature from each period. I will highlight one key work from each period for you now that I think clearly demonstrates the extension of the language over time. The most well-known work of Old English is the epic poem Beowulf. Here is a clip from the original prologue written in Old English. Even though it is technically English, I bet it will sound completely foreign to you.
What? We gardena in dagum thød kuningas rumje fronon, hotha ethelengas ellen fremodon. Oft skyldskjeving skjædene thrætum, monegum macthum meudo setla of tach, eig so de eurla sytten eres werth verschøft funden.
The Middle English period began roughly in 1150 CE and continued into the mid-1500s. Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales is a good example of how the language progressed post the Old English era. Listen to this clip from the prologue of The Canterbury Tales and see if you hear any familiar words.
When that April, with his shouris sorter, the drocht of March hath persed to the roter, and bathed every vine in switch liqueur, of which vertu engendred is the flour.
Hear anything you recognize? Hopefully you did, because Middle English period was the springboard for major authors such as William Shakespeare to shape the language into what we know today. Believe it or not, the English used by Shakespeare is considered modern. William Shakespeare wrote during the early modern period, which begins in the mid-1500s and runs through the early 1800s. Here is a reading from Shakespeare's Sonnet 18 to give you an idea of what the language was that he used.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
I'm sure you understood that one. Obviously, some of the pronouns and adverbs, such as shall and thee, are outdated, but for the most part, we speak the same English today. Language change happened over time for several reasons. For instance, there was heavy borrowing from other languages. You can probably pick out words you say today that are from foreign roots. For example, fiancé is a borrowing from French. Prima donna is a borrowing from Italian, and mosquito is a borrowing from Spanish. Another reason for change is the youth of each generation. With each generation, new ways to simplify the language have arisen. Today, text messaging and social networking have had a huge impact on the simplification of the language. Abbreviations such as legit, OMG and LOL have become understood, acceptable components of our lexicon. Regardless, knowledge of the roots of our language is imperative for understanding the words we string together every day.